is the show that gives South Africans the space to talk, discuss, debate about things that really matter. In South Africa, we've got a high rate of unemployment, and today I'm joined by three very brave souls, I might say. You guys are very brave, who've taken on unemployment in a way that they've started their own companies. I think sonke siyapusha, siyapresa, siyapanda, but sometimes it doesn't work out. And also starting a business can be very, very daunting. It's a very daunting experience, and it can mean quite a lot of things. And I think on today's show, what's great is that the three people that are here are going to tell us the truth. We don't want lies. We don't want fluffiness. We don't want fairy tales about business. We want to get to the core, the bottom part of what it is to start your own business. What does it mean? How much money do you need? And all that jazz. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm going to allow you to introduce yourselves because I don't want to lie to the people about who you are.
Sure.
Understand? No. We're going to allow you guys to introduce yourselves. So I think how we should base do it is you guys tell us who you are and what do you do? What is your business about? I think let's start off there as a starting point.
Okay.
You can start right there, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Bridget Mashile and I own Roka Roko, which is a fashion business. So technically every day I make clothes for fun and make people pay me.
Ooh, she makes clothes for fun. Kumnandi lana. Abuti.
Cool. So my name is Abed Dau. I'm a co-director in Tamani Consulting. We basically look after businesses from a financial health point of view. So we do company registrations right up to tax, auditing, as well as just general bookkeeping.
So you the guys are going to tell me in my company. Okay, but also you're the guys who help me when the big L kicks in.
100%.
Okay, awesome. By the way, the big L is liquidation for those at home who do not know. If you've never been in business or attempted a business, we don't expect you to know. But liquidation can be a very, very scary thing for anybody who owns a business. Ma'am?
Okay, so my name is Tebogo Sihume. I'm a co-director with Abed. So we run Tamani Consulting, which is an accounting and tax solutions business. So we help businesses, individuals with their tax, accounting, all the financial stuff really.
Awesome, awesome. I think I was filling out a form just a week ago to start a business, and the one thing they asked is, are you going to go into this business with someone? And I wrote, no, I don't just go into bed with anybody. So we'll get to the part where you guys went into business and how it came about that you guys went into business together. But before we get there, I just want to talk about you doing fashion. Probably one of the most scariest thing, especially with all the retail outlets. I mean, that must be the most, for me, and it's a product business. So ultimately, you're hustling every day. Part of your job is to hustle, right? But we'll get into, the intricacies of the different departments in your business. So who does the marketing, who does the sales for you? What I want to know is just give us your story. How did it come about that you went into fashion? Was it a calling, sangoma type vibes? Was it a money thing? I was broke, I needed to make something happen.
Yeah.
What's your story?
Well, for me, it took me 10 years to eventually do it. And I think in that 10 years, I was not happy because I knew I wanted to be, but it was difficult for me to get there. But also in that 10 years, people don't actually see that you get prepared. Like literally the universe or God, whoever you believe in, actually prepares you. Because I went to Wits, and while I was there doing marketing, I was still taking part in fashion shows and all that stuff. And then I got a job as a buyer, and then I was buying fashion for like 6 years. So those years, even though I was not aware, but I was being prepared. Because I was learning negotiation skills, I was learning how to price, I was learning fashion, the fabrics, the factories, the industry and everything involved. Then eventually one day, I almost lost my life, and when I woke up, I realized God gave me another chance. The only question I asked myself was, had I died, what would I have regretted? And that would have been me never actually doing what I want to do right now. So then eventually, believe it or not, I left my lovely, comfortable job with a salary every month. And decided, hey, I'm gonna make clothes. And I always tell people, you have to have 5% of craziness to actually be an entrepreneur. You cannot be normal. If you are normal, you're not gonna make it. Because for you, the first month where you can't pay DSTV, you're gonna freak out. Yeah. And that is very normal for us. Like DSTV is not even, like DSTV payment is actually the least, I mean, you get to a place where you don't even have medical aid and you actually get over it because somehow you're like, you know what, if I don't have it, God is going to make sure I do not get to need it. Yeah. So right now, it's been a year and a half. I can say it's been challenging, but I'm not quite sure that if somebody offered me a corporate position, I would be willing to go back, honestly. Because for some reason, I find myself more rich now than when I was employed. And I'm not talking about just finance, I'm talking about a lot of other things. And at the same time, it's really fun. You actually wake up in the morning to do something that you like. And it's even better when you take what you know and you teach somebody else and you see them actually excelling at it. Because suddenly you sort of feel like, okay, I'm actually adding to the world. I'm actually sharing my knowledge and making somebody know. So for me, my story is I took long to eventually jump in. I eventually jumped in, and it's not easy, but I think when I jumped in, I was ready for those challenges. So and there's a lot, very many.
I can imagine. Guys, how did you guys come about? How did you guys then decide with this is the, are you in a relationship maybe? Or how did it come about?
Yeah. Well, me and Abed have always been very good friends in varsity. So that's where we met at UJ. We were both studying BCom accounting. And we were living right next door to each other. So it was easy for us to always be around, bouncing ideas off against each other. And after leaving varsity, we then worked at Deloitte, which is an accounting and audit firm. He was doing his articles and I was in the tax division. So again there, I mean, we kept in contact, you know, like we're bouncing ideas off against each other. And one thing we realized after having spent 4 years there is we wanted to do our own thing. We didn't want to be, you know, stifled by what the corporate environment allowed us to do. We didn't want to work hard just for a raise or a promotion, you know, like climbing the corporate ladder. That wasn't what our motivation was. And fundamentally, what we also wanted was to just create jobs and really make a difference. So that when you do die and you leave the world, you know, what will be your lasting legacy? And we didn't want our lasting legacy to be that we were these high corporate flyers and that's where it ended. We wanted to directly impact the lives of a lot of unemployed youth. So we thought the best thing that we could do is obviously use our skill set. I'm a tax specialist, a bit as an accountant auditor, and start a business that way. A lot of small businesses don't actually have the skills to run a proper business because in terms of their financials, they're nowhere. So we saw that gap. We realized that this is something that we could provide. It's our skill set. It's what we've studied. It's what we know. We've been trained in probably the best institutions, and we can provide those services to small businesses at a much discounted rate. So that's how it started. I mean, Abed has his own story, but particularly with me, that's ultimately what I wanted. I did well in the corporate world. I had a cushy job, you know, I had a salary every month. And when we decided to make that leap and that jump, you know, we didn't know what to expect, but you get to learn all those things once you jump off. And I have no regrets. It's one of those things, once you do it and you do have success, you really don't have regrets because you actually see the impact that your contribution has made to other people.
Okay, Abed, I'm not even going to hear your story.
All right.
Because the nice thing about being in the business with a woman is that they will tell us the story and give it to us. What I want to know from you is, I think as same as picking a girlfriend, picking a wife, picking a business partner is very, very important. Yeah. You know, you don't just pick anybody who's just chilling, you know. You need to find somebody who obviously understands you, is got the same vision as you, ultimately wants to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, or the objectives of what your business is about. Sure. How does Tebogo, hey, his name is a whole woman, huh? Too much, we can't even say Tebogo anymore. Englifying. How did you pick Tebogo? And is she ticking the boxes for the you know, the best business partner for you at this point? Because I do think we do outgrow each other. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, as a business partner, it's okay, she was chilled when we were still making 10,000 a month, but now we're trying to make 10 million and she's just not gonna cut it. Yeah. So how does she tick the boxes for you?
Well, firstly, I think having a strong co-founder is absolutely key in starting a business. I think for a host of reasons. I think starting a business, anyone can attest, it's the most difficult thing. It's actually insanity. And I think you actually need someone who's there when the downs, because the lows are lower than your absolute lows in life. Because it's not just about not being able to pay yourself a salary. You're actually asking yourself, are you worthy to do what you said you're going to do? You know, because you've announced to the world on Facebook, you got the 2,000 likes when you left your job, but now you're faced with the reality of making it work. And you know, those are the success of making a business work and when you left your job, they're miles apart. You know, so you definitely need someone who's just sort of your cheerleader and your co-founder. So in terms of Tebogo, we actually are very different. So Tebogo is extremely technical focused. She's very meticulous and detailed, whereas I'm extremely high level. I'm always thinking about where is the next opportunity and, you know, how do we get to the next opportunity? And we actually come together almost like Lego pieces, because you almost need someone who has that high level and opportunity thriving, but someone to also say, but to get there, we need to build these building blocks.
Someone to do the job.
Well, we both do the job, but she does it better than me in that sense. So yeah, I mean, it's sad that you don't want to hear my story. I've got such a cool story.
I'm sure. I'm sure you do. And no, it's okay. We'll pass on your story for now. We'll allocate you some time at the end if we have time. But I think for me, what I would love to discuss right now, before, you know, I think even the people at home are sitting thinking, okay, we've heard these guys, you know, we've heard what they do, and you guys use some big words, they tax, business health. I think the easiest one is fashion designing. We make clothes, you know. It's easy. Everybody at home gets it. By the way, I'm not going to have enough time to push your brands and your jobs. No, so at every opportunity that you've got to push, guys, you can push any. We're here to push up Pressa Panda. Ultimately, you guys need some sales coming from this, you know, this show today. But what I would like to understand are, you talked about the lows, and I guess the lows come from, this month, will I have enough money? Do I have clients? You know, how do you succumb there? Is that the right word? I'm using the English, the Queen's English today. How do you overcome, you know, that fear? It's August. It's almost, let's say it's August and it's like the 20th, and you've got 0 clients. No one has come up to say, you know, I need a dress. You know, what do you do? It's like a dry season.
I'm not going to lie. I promise you, if you start a business, you need that word called faith. Okay. And you need to believe. Honestly, I've seen it so many times where on the 7th of a month, I'm like 1,000 Rand rich. And then on the 29th, I'm 14,000 Rand rich. It's literally, you need to be very strong, because there's no guarantee of some kind of a check. But if you believe, it does happen. And I know now I'm sounding very, what's the word?
Deep.
Yes, you know, I'm sounding very sangomerish and whatnot. It's the truth. You literally believe, because if you don't, you're wasting your time. Because it's like some days I have my lows. My lows are literally sitting there thinking, wow, that's how much I have. I have 1, 2, 3 to pay, all right? And I'm just sitting there thinking, yo, how is this going to happen? Then I go back to my order list and look at it properly. And right there, you see, but these 5 are possible orders and I haven't actually actioned them. Literally, you don't even have a moment to sit and be depressed. That thing where you get depressed for a week and chill with yourself, being mellow and whatever, you can't do that. You literally get into your low and you find a way to get out instantly. So immediately after I look at it, I start strategizing on how am I going to convert these people into sales. And that's what you do. There's no, in entrepreneurship, you don't have time. You don't have that thing where you are going to, I made a mistake, oh my God, kill myself, stab myself, I feel so bad. You make a mistake, doesn't matter how big it is. I've burnt a dress the day I was supposed to deliver it. And when you burn a dress, you don't just patch, you do the whole thing again. I've done that twice, 3 times. You instantly press, fix, and move on. There's no time for, we've made an error, we've lost 300,000 Rand, we're going to get depressed about it. No, you literally need to move into a mode of, how do I fix it? And how do I make it right? And how do I make it work for myself? Funny enough, people do not know. In entrepreneurship, most of the mistakes you make are not even mistakes. they're actually, yes, they're actually a better way to deliver the thing that you're actually trying to deliver. And this is how you need to start thinking. Because when I was employed, I promise you, I would have never even imagined that if I have a burst tire, I can actually just, I don't know, ask the guys at the garage. I would have never thought that, because to me, I'm trained to think burst tire, insurance, fix, move.
Formula.
But the day you are actually put against that wall, you find a way to drill through the wall. That's just how it happens in entrepreneurship. Because you have no choice. You have to just pay.
Guys, you've heard it, yeah? There's no choice in entrepreneurship. If you make a mistake, you need to see it as an opportunity. Guys, I think we need to get some coffee. Hey, I'm parched. Hey, man. Like, I'm actually very, very, like, I'm deep. I'm deep in this conversation because for me, it's very, very interesting. And as an aspiring entrepreneur, and I think there's a lot of people at home who are also aspiring entrepreneurs who would like to understand the actual experience. You can read books, you can read articles, people talk about it on social media, how it is to run a business, but you actually need the people who are doing it. People who are out there and they're making it and they don't know where their next salary is going to come from. Don't go anywhere. So during the break, these three beautiful people have been telling me that they don't have struggles in their businesses. I think banamanga. I think the issue here is that they've been in this thing for so long that they are actually acting like they didn't have struggles. Guys, there's no way you didn't have struggles. I know for a fact, I bet, that there was a time when you sat there and you thought, that idea is not the smartest, but it's okay, let's move, let's keep it moving. Yeah. Come on, guys. I'm sure they were in those moments. Tell us about those moments.
So I'll tell you, so when we both left Deloitte, we had all these grand ideas. So we owned a pub first, actually, before we actually did the accounting stuff. I had a pub in Soweto called Lapeng. That was an epic failure. That didn't work out. I mean, we hired a lot of guys, but yeah, we tried to get Casper to come. It was just fires, cash. We didn't have the cash to do the stuff that was required to get that thing to work. So that was an absolute failure. After that, we tried to get into eventing. We did events. We did a lot of things before we eventually decided that all of this is just noise. Let's stick to what we know. And what we do know is the professional services. It's accounting, it's tax. Tebogo mentioned, I'm a chartered accountant. Tebogo's got an MCOM in tax. And we've got a real passion for, entrepreneurship and making sure that people really thrive and do well in business. And that's sort of where the story began. I mean, we didn't have an office. We had to lie to clients and say, there's a Nando's right next to your office. Can we meet there? And they'll say, we'll come to your office. We'll be, no. It's so crazy at the office. We'll come to you. So those are some of the things, man. And we didn't have any employees. I mean, today, luckily, we've got 3 employees and we've got offices and we've got clients that we service. But yeah, I mean, we've been lucky because it's still a year. I've spoken to a lot of people who are 5 years in and don't have a quarter of the things we have. So we're very privileged and I don't think we're sustainable yet, don't get me wrong. I think we're still a long way from a point where I feel that we've achieved anything. I want to hire 100,000 people in my lifetime. So that's where we're trying to get to.
Where are those 100,000 people out there, guys? You've heard it. He was like, Abed would like to hire 100,000 people, but you said something very, very important. Stick to what you know. Guys, for me, and those are the stories that I wanted to hear. You see, you guys came and sat here and said and talked about how, we tanked business life. And I'm like, sheesh, man, these guys have got this thing on lock. And I think even the people at home are sitting thinking, we can't relate to these people. These people literally, they sound like, I don't want to say white privilege, but like it's not white privilege. So now I'm very glad that you touched on your pub and your eventing company and how that was a failure, because I always believe that no business is actually a failure. You must learn something from it, from it going down, as you said, trying to get Okaspa. Those are like businesses that need capital, and I think businesses that need capital in general are very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So where do you find this capital? Where do you find this funding? Do you ask parents? Do you ask friends? Friends must look at you like, ufuna malini? 50,000. Ish, 50,000 man. Ish. Abanayo. I could have a phone, but you must always remember. So tell me, did your guys' business need startup capital?
Yeah. Particularly with our consulting business, which is what we do day to day, startup capital we didn't really need because we're selling our time, our skill set. We just really needed money for a laptop that's it, and software. So we didn't need a lot of startup capital in that regard. But in terms of the other businesses which we started, like a bit said, the pub, I mean, there you are buying stock, food, you're paying employees, so very different businesses and very different needs. So in terms of the pub business, that needed a lot of startup capital. And normally the way you raise it is through people who know you. You can't go to a bank and say, I've got a great idea, please, give me money. They won't even consider you. So normally the people you do go to are your family, normally, because they do believe in you and they do know you better.
You'll be surprised.
Friends! Friends are a bit shaky. I mean, like, everyone's got their own issues with money, and we're all hustling and we're all trying to do our own thing. So you really have to be careful with regards to the ideas you have and the plans you have and who you also expose them to, because you don't want to be going around telling people, okay, I've got this idea, I want to do this, I need 100,000, and for people just to laugh in your face. So family, I would say, is the best bet for startup capital. If you are able, as yourself, like we were working, so we saved up the money before we left. That is something that we used as well.
Oh, okay. And Roka Roko, did it need any startup capital?
I can say probably for additions, because remember, I've been stitching for like 10 years approximately, and because I was also doing a fashion diploma part-time that time, I had like your sewing machine and the pattern equipment. So, but then you have to now, because now you are not making your little sister a favor, you're actually doing something that's a service, you need perfection. So then you have to get things like the overlockers, the big table, and all the other things. So I would say, yes, I did need it, but it wasn't like too much money. And then remember, I literally resigned, so I had money from that job, and like the 5% cray in me used all the savings just for my business. And then also, I think and the first year is easy because you're using your own money and you are literally living off the money that you got. The real life begins when that money is finished. When now the money you're making needs to include ESCOM and I don't know, who's insuring you. Exactly. All that stuff. So for one, I would say banks, South Africa, no. Very disappointed. People sit in their positions and they advertise and whatnot. The moment you get there, they literally tell you things like, oh yes, before we can, this is the bank you bank with, by the way. They demand for you to first submit a document that will cost you 9 grand just so you can get like a credit of like 20 grand. So it's like, and I've literally been so many banks. Eventually I stopped because I decided, you know what? If this idea is in me, there's a way for me to do it at the bank. And then eventually things happen for you. Right now, I'm actually in a program that will help me to actually present myself to the people who can help me out with finance and whatever. But I feel like people should not, you shouldn't stop just because you don't have the money to start. You actually shouldn't stop. All you actually need is your brain in your hands. Honestly, I'm not even lying. Yes, it's going to be very, very hard. But you can't just say, I need 10,000 rand just to buy that machine and I'm not going to do it. No, find out, where can I get it secondhand? Who has a machine in their house and they're not using it? So I can use it and pay them like a percentage of what I'm doing. And then the third thing, never ever borrow money from friends. It's not even, like, just don't. It's not like, just don't.
Then I'm looking
because
at you like,
at the end of the day, your friends, when they borrow you money in a business, you're not asking for 2K, you're asking for 5K or 10K, okay? I mean, one, you don't have a guarantee of paying it back. You don't. Two, that person, tomorrow niyalwa, and then what? Then you're going to owe them and it becomes another thing. Yes, stay away from friends. And then the next thing they see you with a Brazilian weave and it's on some, ooh, she owes me, And they don't even know, maybe it was a sponsorship or whatever, but to them it becomes that. Family, I think if it's your parents and you are that lucky, happy for you. But also be very careful because at the end of the day, it's your dream. It's not our dream. It's your dream. So you must not impose your dream on other people where they're actually digging very deep in their pockets just for you. Because remember, also human beings when they do things with their own timeline. So they will give you whatever they want to give you because you borrowed it. And they're thinking, no, she'll be successful, whatever. If you take 5 years and she had already gave you 2 years, it's going to be shocking for them. So another day, don't wait for someone to give you cash to start what you want to start. The reason for it being in your head and being your dream, it means you are capable to actually start without having to wait for someone. Let somebody catch you along the way, and then you can say, yeah, this is what I've done. And it's easier for them to then fund you or whatever they want to do. Let them catch you while you're already working. And also, when you've already started, remember, literally, I think business at the end of the day, even employment at the end of the day, it's money running in a circle. So you make, you use to make more money. You make, you use to make more money. And whatever you do, as you grow, you save whatever percentage is appropriate for that growth wherever you are.
Guys, it will be NYDA. Where's NYDA? Where's CEDA? Where are these people who go on television and promise us money? And I'm pro-government. I love the government. I think they do quite a lot of work. But I think that they do fail South African youth, especially the youth, when it comes to supporting businesses. I mean, day in, day out at the State of the Nation address, you are hearing young South Africans need to start businesses. They need to create employment. But where NYTA? Yes, please, I need you to touch on it, Abed. I need you.
Because I was just listening to, Bridget, and talking about how financing is tough to get from the banks. And I think you raised a very valid point about your NEFs, NYDAs, CFAs. I think it's important for your viewers to know at home that also just having a business idea doesn't mean you're going to get funding. Because what most people think, like your comment saying, where are all of these people? They are failing us. But if you actually go investigate the type of submissions that these agencies are getting, they poor to sub-poor.
I can attest to that.
So people are going there with no tax clearance. People are going there with no financial projections. People are going there with business plans that are 2 pages. So it's important to partner with the right people. And this is not me advocating our services, but I'm just letting you know that a lot of entrepreneurs go and say things like, no, the NYDA, the CFAs are not helping us, but they're actually not putting together the right sort of documents. And unfortunately, we don't live in a culture where it's America and we have huge venture capitalists waiting for startup ideas. We, unfortunately, are bureaucratic by, our funding structures where you do need to fill the tick the boxes. And I'm not saying they're doing a great job. I think the CFAs can do with a lot of help, because I do think that people evaluating some of the business ideas have never done a business in their lives, ever.
Yeah.
And
they service, government, public service people. Figure home affairs, I'm on lunch.
Yeah.
But I'm on lunch. So I do think maybe that's also...
It's a 50-50 thing. I think...
Also, can I just say also... I understand, right, why you're saying that, because that would be your strength, right? The documents, right, and all of that. But now I won't even lie to you. I have looked at all those sites. The one thing that actually makes me turn back is that they have a list of 10-point things of what they request to just look at you.
So there's red tape.
Yes, for me, I look at it as red tape, because you need to remember, guys, this person is super talented. They're starting at the bottom. They have no clue how to do the income statement.
Sure.
It's not even a lie. It's actually just a fact. And not because they're lazy to do it, they just don't know how to do it. And then guess what? It costs them money to get it done. Okay? So if you're right by saying it's not America. America. Because in America, you just twerk and we're done. You're dancing for whoever and that's it. Tomorrow you are whoever. For in South Africa, I've heard so many times, and it's actually becoming a problem. Yeah. You are so talented. Oh my gosh, your work is amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, great. Would you like to fund me? I know a lot of rich people, lots. Many people who are around me who have lots of money who can. But then suddenly everybody has this certain fear of, okay, wait, give me a paper with black on it first so I can see. And for me, I'm not saying it's wrong. And I'm not saying it's whatever, but I'm saying right now there's a very big gap between the dreamer entrepreneur and those funders. There is a big gap.
Can we touch on it? I want to ask a very, very, very important, because you guys have been in this business where you help people to start you guys put together like a mini startup pack, teach you how to put together your business plan and all that. Can we, before we move to that, can we talk about people who, and this might sound very terrible, but you do find that there are people, dreamers, who have amazing dreams, but they're not business people. They're not supposed to be in business, you know.
I'm one of them. I'm not.
You know, and I think it's the most discouraging thing, because those people are talented. And they can make money out of their talent, but they don't understand business. Is that the solution? A co-founder?
Yeah, get a co-founder, but probably most important, if you don't want to, you know, share the pot with someone like a co-founder, get people who actually know what they're doing. I think at the end of the day, you need to understand that it's a business. No one is going to invest in a dream. So great, lots of people have dreams, but you know, if I'm going to put my money into your dream, you need to produce the results. So for me as an investor, if you're coming to me and you don't even know how much money you made last month, in the last 6 months, in the last year, 2 years, why would I give you my money just because you have this incredible dream? We all dream. We generally all dream, but I think what entrepreneurs need to, or want to be entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, what they need to understand is if they're ever going to be taken seriously, they have to treat it like a business. You know, how much money are you making? What are your profits? If I invest today, when will I get my money back? Those are the types of questions that investors ask.
And I think there's got to be a difference between a grant and funding.
And you must be clear from the start.
If you're looking for funding, someone is looking for a return. Okay, so if you're sort of saying, and I hear the challenge, and that's the challenge that I think we're trying to bridge with our services, to say, I've got this amazing painter and he's got a dream to, you know, start studios all over the world, but he can't put together a business plan. No investor is going to say, you're talented, let me put money. Money doesn't solve that problem. It doesn't make it a business. What makes it a business is, what is the vision? What's the mission? Where's this thing in 5 years? Like what Teboga said, I wouldn't invest any money into someone who doesn't know what tomorrow looks like for their business. Why? You wouldn't know. No sensible investor would do that, which is why I'm saying you've got to identify the difference between, are you looking for grant funding? Because yes, there are agencies that look after that. Like if you want to do farming, people will give you day olds as a grant, and no one's looking to earn a return. But if you're going to CIFA, NEF, NYDA, these are people that they've attached some sort of collateral to your business and they want to earn a return. But they have to predict their return, which is where all of this mechanisms of cash flows and what does 5 years look like from now, who's your team, who's your CFO, who's your marketer, why all of those things start becoming important.
And I guess as well, like it's pretty daunting. I mean, I know we've done this at Varsity, so we know like income statement, balance sheet, we know the numbers game. But if you're like an artist, if you're like a painter, if you're a photographer, that's what you do. You wouldn't necessarily know what we know. But there are people, professionals out there who do this. I mean, we do this for a living.
But the chargeable guy, because that's the question. How much do you guys charge? It's not like if I'm a painter and I'm coming in and I want to start a business and I need you guys to come in and assist me. What are you guys asking for? Are you asking for my equity? Are you guys asking me for? Are you charging me? Because ultimately, I'm not coming in with no money. I'm still at that point where I'm a mixtape, guys, and I'm busy dropping them off at the big radio stations. But I'm saying to you guys, la recharge, guys. How do we go about that?
No, 100%. So I think the first thing that one needs to realize is that if you're serious about your dream and you're serious about entrepreneurship, you've got to realize inherently that nothing's going to come for free. There are definitely a lot of institutions like ourselves, like other small practices that don't charge a lot of money. You'd be surprised how far 5,000 Rand gets you in terms of some of these services that you're talking about. But I think if you're very serious about your dream and you're serious about your business, you'll budget for these things in your dream, because it shows a lack of seriousness if you're saying, I can't pay 300 Rand to register a company or 150 Rand to secure a domain name. So, like I said, do the research. There's research out there that says, Google an accountant, Google a domain registration. Some of these things are 100 Rand.
Guys, there's no free lunch in South Africa. I think everybody knows that. But I think I might just lean on agreeing with Abed just a little bit. I do feel you guys at home, if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, guys, can't put together a business plan. I do believe that you can partner with these people. You can even sell your equity. I mean, if they believe in your business and you believe in your business and they don't tell you that your idea is crap, you guys do tell people the ideas are crap, right?
Never.
Sometimes. So they will tell you if your idea is crap. Guys, we're going to go on a short break. Please stay tuned. 9 out of 10 businesses in South Africa fail in their first year. sometimes they say even in the first 100 days, if you can make it past 100 days, you've done well. You guys clearly have passed 100 days. So yay, let's celebrate passing 100 days. Guys, I think we've spoken a little bit about the negative things on starting a business and running a business. Let's talk about the good things. Let's talk about, first and foremost, let's talk about why you went into business. I know that you guys went into business obviously because the skill set that you've got, it's a talent, a passion. But I think some people go into business because they don't want to be dictated to in the corporate world. You know, don't want a boss. You are your own boss. Some people are too ambitious to be employees. But we must also touch on, can we tell people at home that it's okay to be an employee? I think you know, as business people, when we walk around, we tell people, oh, I'm in business, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. We make people who are employees feel bad, and I think we shouldn't do that. It's okay to be an employee, and you're going to hear it today from people who are in business. Guys, let's talk about the employee thing.
Of course it's okay to be an employee. We need you. So, I mean, okay, the first thing I think, I want to touch on what you just said, that, you know, 100 days here, you always also need to always celebrate every little stupid little thing. People won't get it. I mean, today, me being here, are you kidding me? I'm going to get myself a bottle of wine and, you know, celebrate, because those are the little things that we celebrate. Last year, I was literally on another show for 1 second. This year, I'm here for how many minutes? I don't even know anymore. And you need to celebrate that for yourself, because you need to remind yourself that, oh my God, I'm doing well. And then on the reason why I actually started going to business, I think everybody has a certain personality, and some personalities are just not employees. And not because we are better or something. We just don't function well in that area. You know, I think, but normally, you know, you leave school, you go to work because that's what's expected. You try it out, and eventually you realize it's not really what I want to do. And then also in South Africa, I mean, fashion industry in South Africa, according to me, my opinion, it's not potentialized. We are not even close to it. Countries like China literally make lots and lots of money just from sewing, you know? Countries like the US and the UK, fashion is like listed with things like science and whatever, first page together as the biggest economies they have. And I find it very hard that Africa doesn't do that. Why not? We have so many cultures, so much to actually show the world, so many ways of mixing it and playing with it. I am still surprised that today still, it's okay for me, and not beating down on the brand, to go to Zara and buy something instead of literally just calling someone like Tula Cindy, you know? And it's still the same price. But people still want to do that. I feel like South Africans or Africans, we can have our own name. We don't need to be always following something else. I think it's time for us to actually say, hey, look, we're here and we can do it. And best of all, we even have the labor in the country. I mean, we talk about there's no jobs, but there are people. What industries are we looking at to create these jobs? Not everyone is a scientist. Thank God. Hey, not everyone is an accountant. Not everyone is going to be a teacher or a police officer. They're not going to do that. Some people like sewing, and if they do, and it's a simple thing to learn, to actually just stitch. I mean, we should have like factories and factories, which is what I want. I literally want factories and factories supplying the world, us making our own fabrics and doing things for everybody else. And also, back again on talking about foreign brands, when I was working as a buyer, I was in the footwear department, but I was also, you know, involved with apparel and everything. You see the whole process. I mean, we were literally fitting things on mannequins that look nothing like me. It made no sense to me, because in South Africa, most of us are average height, bigger at the bottom, smaller at the top, you know, but those mannequins were all flat at the back, thin on the sides, super tall. And then also when you go to shop, I'm yet to meet one person who walks into a shop, fits something and it's perfect. I'm yet to meet that person. To this day, I have literally like one pair of jeans, because and even that one does not fit me properly, because we are buying things that are made in the idea of someone else, not South African, not African. That is a huge gap. It's just sitting there waiting for somebody to take it. And that's why I decided, you know what, nobody's gonna do it. I think maybe I should try and do it. Why not? I mean, I've got the idea, the skills and everything, and I should go into it and try to see. And also, I mean, yes, we love China, but at some point, we can't let China take over. You know what I mean? We also need to get involved and do our own thing. And also, imagine exporting to China one day. Interesting.
I'll summarize.
Yes. Summarize, but while you're summarizing, touch on how was it to tell your parents, peace out on being an employee, I'm going to do this business thing?
So just in summary, why I do what I do, without trying to sound like a philanthropist, I really do believe in employment. Yes. There's 24% unemployment, and if you include the wider definition, is 35%, and most of that is actually youth. So I can't employ people faster than we currently are. That's sort of our goal. I want to get people off the streets, and so I definitely think that there is a place for, I actually have no issue with working for anyone. I think we are always working for someone. If you're a big CEO, you're working for shareholders. We are currently working for our clients. So in some way or another, we are all employees. How did I tell my dad? Luckily, my dad has always been my biggest fan. I've done tons of businesses since I was in high school at Cares. I've done it all. Car washes, promotions companies. So it wasn't a shock to him. I mean, he was surprised the first few weeks when I was just on the couch, but I think he's always known that this is the path I'm going to follow.
That's awesome. Tebogo, parents?
Oddly enough, my mom and dad were fine with it. It was just my grandmother who was like, why are you doing this? You're meant to have this lonely job, and I can go around telling people you're a partner at this big firm. But yeah, she had an issue.
Hold up. Your grandmother knows how big Deloitte is.
No, she does. I mean, my grandmother is very modern, so she's in the know. She's in the know. But I think genuinely my family extended, everyone has really been supportive, trying to see how they can help me get my brand across. Now it's my grandmother who's giving away my business cards, and that's the kind of environment you want to create. You want to make that a possibility. I mean, before I did it, no one in my family had gone out and done it themselves. So now that they see that I've done this and I'm doing it and I'm not broke and I'm not like asking for money, that is something that my younger nieces and nephews are also looking up to. So yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with employment. I just want to put it out there. I think some people are better suited to be employees. It's not for everyone running a business, because when you run a business, you are the boss, you're the marketer, you're the sales department, debtors, clerk, you do everything. And it's extremely stressful and you're always working under pressure. So it's not meant for everyone. So you can be an employee and do your job and that's it, and get your salary and you're living la vida. But exactly. So I think in terms of employees, I think don't try and fit yourself and make yourself into an entrepreneur if you're not, because you'll be miserable. If you're really passionate about doing what you do, you'll definitely make a success of yourself.
Guys, to wrap it up, just in short, what is your message to the people? What do you need to tell the people at home? What do they need to understand about entrepreneurship? We literally have to just do it in like short snippet, and yes.
So 5 minutes, 10 seconds.
We'll do it the other way around. Short little message.
I think passion plus hard work will always equal success. And please, you need to support everyone who's local and doing something amazing.
Awesome.
Okay, 3 quick things.
Yes.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So there is no opportune time to start a business. You must just start. Secondly, you don't need to be incredibly talented or have this crazy talent and ability to succeed. You just need to start. And just to touch on what Tebogo was saying, I truly believe that entrepreneurship is not a select, elusive thing that certain people are born with. If you've got a dream, you've got a desire, wrap yourself around people that can manifest your dream.
And from me, I think be inspired, be motivated, don't sit on your laurels. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you're serious about it, you need to get out there and start selling. So sales cures everything. Make sure you are out there, your brand is out there, you're pushing, you are working hard and to realize your dream.
Yes, bye Roka Roko.
Bye Roka Roko.
Consult with Tamani Consulting.
Consult with Tamani Consulting, guys. I think for me it's been a learning show, because you get to Google and read about these things, and it comes from somebody who wrote it. And it's funny because I've got a boss who once said to me, Nicolette, you really love money. And I said, no, I don't love money. It's easy for you who's got money to say to me, I love money. I'm out there, we're trying to push. So if you are at home and you're trying to push, you're trying to start, as they said, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now. So stay assertive, start that business, and let's push us. Pande.